There was a time when one single gun defined raw American power on the big screen and on the streets. That gun was the Smith & Wesson Model 29 in .44 Magnum. 6 rounds, heavy steel, long barrel, massive recoil. A revolver that looked like it meant business before it ever fired a shot. Clint Eastwood as Dirty Harry Callahan made that revolver famous in 1971. And the moment he delivered the line, "Do you feel lucky?" it became bigger than a movie quote. It became a statement. The Model 29 was not subtle. It was not soft. It was not built to make people comfortable. It was built to end arguments. Now, fast forward to today. A modern patrol officer steps out of a vehicle carrying a Glock 17 in 9mm, 17 rounds in the magazine. Low recoil, fast follow-up shots, lightweight polymer frame, a weapon built for repetition and reliability. Inside the cruiser sits a Colt M4 carbine in .556 NATO. 30 rounds, red dot optic, weapon light, a tool that allows the officer to reach farther, shoot faster, and stay more accurate under pressure. And for close quarters, there is still the Remington 870 shotgun, 12-gauge, pump action, big bore force that has ended more dangerous encounters than most people will ever understand. So here is the real question. Was Dirty Harry carrying the more powerful image, or does the modern officer carry the more powerful system? The answer is more complicated than nostalgia would like. Because this is not just a gun comparison, this is a comparison between two worlds. One world was defined by raw presence, the other by systems training and layered capability. And if you want to understand which one really wins, you have to understand what each one was built to do. The gun that became a legend. The Smith & Wesson Model 29 was introduced in 1955 as the most powerful production handgun in the world. It was built on the big end frame. Steel, weight, strength. When you picked one up, you knew immediately this was not a pocket gun or a convenience gun. This was a serious revolver for serious work. A standard Model 29 with a 6.5-inch barrel weighed enough to soak up some recoil, but not enough to make the .44 Magnum pleasant. The recoil was real, the muzzle blast was real, and that sound alone made people pay attention. The cartridge itself pushed a .240 grain bullet at around 1,350 to 1,400 feet per second. That was enormous power for a handgun in that era. And that is part of why the gun became a symbol. It did not ask for permission. It did not pretend to be easy. It simply existed as a loud, direct answer to serious violence. Dirty Harry did not just carry a handgun. He carried a threat. That is what the audience understood. Not just that the revolver was powerful, but that the man carrying it was powerful too. Modern duty gear changes the entire fight. Now look at the modern officer. The Glock 17 is not famous because it looks intimidating. It is famous because it works. It gives you high capacity, it gives you low recoil, it gives you reliability in bad weather, poor light, stress, and long training cycles. The difference between 6 rounds and 17 rounds is not just numbers. It changes the psychology of the fight. A revolver makes every shot feel expensive. A modern pistol allows controlled repetition. That means the shooter can stay in the fight longer and correct mistakes faster. The M4 carbine pushes that idea even further. Now the officer is not limited to handgun distance. Now the officer can engage at range, around vehicles, across open ground, or from cover with far more precision. That changes everything about how a fight is managed. And then there is the Remington 870. The shotgun still matters, because close-range fights are messy. A 12-gauge with buckshot creates immediate consequences. When things are too close for comfort, the shotgun brings a level of force that is still respected for good reason. So, when you stack all that together, Glock 17, M4 carbine, 870 shotgun, body armor, radios, backup weapons, modern training. You are no longer comparing one gun to another. You are comparing one era of improvisation to one era of systems. Dirty Harry had something modern gear cannot copy, and yet there is still something the modern side cannot fully replace: presence. Dirty Harry was not just a man with a revolver. He was a walking warning sign. That Model 29 had psychological weight. People saw it and understood that the man holding it was not bluffing. That matters. Because in the real world, many confrontations are won before the first shot. They are won by posture, by voice, by confidence, by the simple ability to make the other person believe you are not the one to test. Harry had that. He had the stare, he had the calm, he had the kind of verbal control that told you he was not looking for trouble, but was absolutely prepared for it. That is why the character hit so hard with American men. He represented a kind of old-world certainty that feels rare now. No endless committee, no long explanation, no uncertainty in the face of danger, just judgment, just resolve, just action. The modern officer has what Harry never could, but the modern officer has something Harry never had: layered support. That matters too. Today, a cop can call for backup instantly. He has a radio, he has body armor, he has a patrol rifle, he has less lethal tools, he has training in de-escalation, he has body cams, he has legal structure around use of force. That is not weakness. That is civilization improving the odds. And it makes the modern officer more effective in the long run. If Dirty Harry was a lone hammer, the modern officer is a full toolbox, and that toolbox exists for a reason, because the real world is chaotic. Not every threat can be solved by bravado. Not every encounter should escalate. Not every call should end in a gunfight. The best modern officers know that winning sometimes means not firing at all. Ballistics matter, but they do not tell the full story. Let us talk about the raw numbers for a moment. A 44 Magnum hardcast load can drive deep and hit with serious energy. That is why the cartridge earned its reputation. A 9mm modern duty load may not match the 44 Magnum in raw handgun power, but it offers more rounds, faster recovery, and much better controllability. A 5.56 NATO rifle round gives you reach and accuracy that handguns simply cannot match. And a 12-gauge shotgun loaded with buckshot delivers brutal short-range force. So yes, on paper, the modern system is more flexible, but paper does not get the final vote. The man behind the gun does. A powerful cartridge in weak hands is still a weak answer. A moderate cartridge in disciplined hands is often far more effective. That is why this comparison is interesting. It is not just about horsepower, it is about how that horsepower gets used. Why older men still connect with Dirty Harry. If you are a man in your 50s or 60s, this all probably hits a certain nerve. Because Dirty Harry came from a time when men were expected to be decisive. He was not polished. He was not politically correct. He was not trying to make everybody feel safe with words. He showed up. He judged the moment. He acted. That resonated because a lot of men remember a world where strength was not a talking point. It was a requirement. You were expected to carry yourself a certain way. You were expected to handle pressure. You were expected to know your limitations and keep your head when things got hot. That is why the famous line still works. A man has got to know his limitations. This is not just movie dialogue. This is a life principle. The real lesson of the comparison. The real lesson is not that old guns are better. They are not. The real lesson is that old school mindset still matters. Modern gear can give you more capacity, more speed, and more options. But discipline still wins the day. That's the thing Dirty Harry understood. He did not have endless rounds. He did not have endless backup. He had a revolver and the nerve to use it correctly. The modern officer has more tools, but those tools only work well when the officer has the same mental clarity, calm, focus, judgment, timing. That is the bridge between eras. What changed from then to now? The old world was about personal force. The modern world is about system force. Dirty Harry was the symbol of one man standing in a dangerous world and handling business. The modern officer is part of a larger structure designed to reduce risk and improve outcomes. That is progress. But it also means something was lost. Modern systems can make men rely too much on the equipment and not enough on character. They can create the illusion that gear solves everything. It does not. Gear helps. Training helps. Systems help. But character still decides the outcome when everything goes sideways. So who really wins? If the question is which side has the better tools, the modern side wins easily. The Glock 17 beats the old revolver in capacity and speed. The M4 outclasses the old handgun in reach and precision. The shotgun remains devastating. The entire loadout is built for a world that values flexibility and survival across multiple threat types. But if the question is which image still carries the deepest power, Dirty Harry wins that part, because he represents something people do not forget. A man who is calm under pressure, a man who knows exactly who he is, a man who does not need a room full of approval before making a hard decision. And maybe that is why the comparison still works so well today. It is not just old versus new. It is presence versus process, instinct versus system, one man versus many tools. And the truth is that the best officer today needs both. He needs the modern gear, he needs the training, he needs the support, but he also needs the old school spine that says when the moment comes, he will not hesitate. That is the real evolution. Not replacing Dirty Harry, learning from him. Because in the end, it was never just about the .44 Magnum. It was about the man who carried it. And that is still what decides everything. Not the size of the gun, not the brand, not the movie line. The man behind the gun. That is the part that never changed.